And welcome to the channel. And just a quick self-plug. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps me out and keeps projects like this moving along. In this video, I'll be tearing down a 1989 Yamaha TZR125, a first generation model, as indicated by the 2RK at the beginning of the serial number. Yamaha launched the TZR125 in 1987 and wrapped up production in 1992. This particular one is very much from the early days, and you can feel it. Now, originally I was planning a straight up disassembly video, bit by bit. But I can still do that if anyone's interested. Just let me know in the comments. But the reality is, tearing down a bike can be a bit repetitive on camera. Remove this, remove that. So instead, I thought I'd talk through the teardown while sharing some background, history and interesting little details this bike throws up. Let me know what you think. Depending on your age, you might remember the TZR's predecessors, the AS3 and the RD125, a bit better. I know I do. That probably shows my age. They were water-cooled 124cc two-stroke parallel twins with around 17 horsepower. This TZR, by contrast, is a liquid-cooled single that kicks somewhere in the region of 26 horsepower and features Yamaha's power valve system known as YPVS. The YPVS is something I associate more with the RD350 and RD500, which were the first street bikes to use it back in 1983. Yamaha had already been using it in racing since 1977. Back to this bike. The TZR125's VPVS system adjusts exhaust port height to improve power delivery across the rev range. It uses a servo motor controlled by the CDI, which you can hear cycle when the ignition is turned on. Two cables connect to the valve shaft, move the valve, adjusting the port timing depending on the engine speed. Simple in concept, brilliant in execution. So what does TZR actually mean? Well, unlike RD, often taken to mean race developed, TZ isn't really an acronym. It's more a prestigious designation that reflects Yamaha's Grand Prix racing heritage. The T was used on Yamaha models coded for two-stroke racing bikes, while the Z indicated pure competitive machines reserved for high-performance models. So TZR simply means TZ Replica, a street-legal machine inspired by Yamaha's legendary race bikes. The later TZR125, from 1991 onwards, have very little in common with this earlier model. They were assembled in Belgarda in Italy using imported Japanese parts, but it came with Brembo brakes, Pioli, if you pronounce that right, upside-down forks, and a crankcase made by Motor Minarelli, a different beast altogether. Back to this one though. Like most classic bikes I end up working on, this TZR needed the usual mix of hammering, heating, drilling, extracting and grinding, all part of the fun. Half the job is figuring out how to get things apart without breaking them, and the other half is remembering how to get them to go back together. Pro tip: take photos, especially if the wiring's been monkeyed about with. Not every wire ends up where it originally lived. Dressed in a full fairing with square headlight, very much a design cue of the time, this bike features Yamaha Delta box frame, which is lightweight and rigid, contributing to sharp handling. The TZR125 wasn't the first Yamaha to wear it though. That honour goes to its bigger brother, the TZR250, which had it as early as 1985. The clip-on handlebars mounted above the top yoke give a sportier riding position. These ones had a rough life. Both were bent, and one bolt head was completely rounded off. Let's just say it took some persuasion to get it free. The coolant looked surprisingly clean, so some maintenance had been done, but the wiring, well, it had seen some creativity. One of the more delightful tasks was draining the fuel tank. Imagine a mixture of rust, corrosion and broken dreams. The fuel cock assembly had to come out just to get it to drain properly. The engine came out fairly easily thanks to the clever detachable lower right frame rail. I sported it on a scissor stand with a rubber mallet for, well, precision engineering. Grease was clearly in short supply back in the day. Both axles were seized, and the rear shock needed serious heat from a blowtorch to free the lower bolt. That's an essential tool for jobs like this. Up front, it still had the standard right way up forks, unlike the upside down setup on the later models, but these stanchions are badly pitted and will need replacing. And in the end, after all the work, we're left with a lovely collection of parts, laid out here. A dream for some, a nightmare for others. For me, it's the start of something exciting. This isn't a scrap heap. It's the rebirth of a TZR125, and I like to do that. It'll be cleaned, repaired, repainted, rebuilt, and even improved. I'll be fabricating what I can and following up with polish and patience. This is the start of something a little mad, but also a little exciting. You only really understand a bike when it's in pieces like this, and for me, this TZR isn't just a project. It's a trip back to a time when two-strokes ruled the streets and every ride was like a race. So, if you want to follow along, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, ask questions, or share your own stories. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy motorcycling, and as always, keep the rubber side down. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.